Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am from Microsoft Japan. My name is Higuchi. Now, last year, I was asked to talk, and finally, Microsoft is invited to this event. And for 2 consecutive years now, we have been invited. Very grateful for that invitation. And I say this because the alliance with SoftBank is now evolved from dots to a line, and now it is expanding to a surface. So when we hear SoftBank, we know that it is a very agile company, and they're very quick in making decisions. And Mr. Son yesterday said that SoftBank reads the game maybe 7, 8 steps versus the opponents. So nobody can understand what SoftBank is trying to do, but SoftBank is in the front line in making these quick decisions. And SoftBank has chosen Microsoft as an alliance company. Obviously, we are quite honored, and it's proof that we are a very edgy company as a result as well. But SoftBank is known to opt out of alliances quickly as well, so we want to make sure that we cling on. Now, from my end, I was thinking that nobody's speaking of the company titled A, but anyways, putting that aside, I feel that now we are in the loop within the SoftBank ecosystem. And for us at Microsoft as well, we have made drastic changes for the past few years. Many people say this, and this is our 3rd CEO at Microsoft Corp. And the Windows ecosystem, we have actually emerged from that, and we are shifting to a much more open strategy. We focus on user-friendliness, and if it will reap better user-friendliness, we are more than willing now to align with what we in the past have called competitors. This is not just limited to the Windows world, iOS, Android as well. We support these platforms, and on our Azure platform, Red Hat, Oracle, SFDC, and now newly in the area of manufacturing, the de facto of IoT GE's Predix will now be offered on our Azure cloud as well. So we have expanded to this extent. And we have been always playing catch up versus the market, but now we are in a position to take that first step. Windows 10, good example, Surface, Surface Hub, HoloLens, Office 365, Microsoft Translator, as well as Cortana and Lina. So we have come up with many, many new initiatives, new technologies, and please look forward to more from us. Now, our new CEO, as you see, he is always instructing to look at the market, receive the feedback from our customers, take that first step. And all of the development teams are now collaborating, aligned, making sure that we connect the dots, and we have switched our development strategies accordingly as well. On top of that, cloud services products are developed first, and then we go into on-premise development. So we have reversed the sequence of developments as well. And on top of that, as was just mentioned, AI, as well as cognitive services, IoT. So again, how can we add value with these buzzwords and make sure that we embed these capabilities in all of our services, all of our products, in our backend as well? Now, the Pepper robot, the smart robot, we are now aligning with Pepper as well. So the AI robotics market is growing, and by 2020, it is forecast that it will grow to a market size of 30 trillion yen. Now, the current IT market is 20 trillion yen, so we believe that it will exceed, in other words, that will be an add-on to the existing market. Now, data is critical. AI is critical for the growth, for the future, but this all starts with the cloud. In other words, it's about the public cloud, it's about the data volume, it's about the scale. So these are going to make or break the game. So again, as was mentioned earlier by Alibaba, a cloud that can a cloud provider that can service the world will survive. Amazon, Google, Alibaba, and Microsoft. We have to have a large, massive scale cloud for the consumer to be able to handle this voluminous data. And without that, you will lose out in the competition. So that is where we stand right now. Now, we also have an enterprise business, and we have a long-standing enterprise business. We have a reliable enterprise scheme as well. And again, this is the overall initiative within our company, and that is why Azure is now considered the de facto in the world of enterprise as well. So inclusive of Azure, there are so many cloud services out there. They have to be intelligent, they have to be connected, and they are being connected. Now, one of the topics today has been intelligence, and the core intelligence on this slide is in English, but we have the Cortana Intelligence Suite that we have to offer. This is the core element. Now, this Cortana Intelligence Suite from Microsoft, difficult to pronounce, but this is basically a combination of AI and fully leveraging AI and making sure that performance is maximized through storing the data, analyzing the data, and this is all optimized to leverage the capabilities of artificial intelligence. So I am not all that familiar with the technology aspect, so let me invite our CTO, Sakakibara-san, and I would like to proceed the presentation with our CTO. So let me hand over the stage to you. So we're talking about AI over and over again, and I think everyone is very interested in artificial intelligence. But in the old days, AI suddenly, it was quiet for a few years, and why suddenly AI is taking hold of us so quickly? So I think there are three elements. The first is computing power, processing power is extremely high right now. Another point is the core of AI is machine learning, and we need that function, machine learning. So machine learning, to make it more effective, the learning process, we need voluminous data to feed into the machine. We need to store that data. We need to process that data. And recently, more and more people are using the cloud, so it is more scalable. So we have the scalable technology. That's another major milestone. And for about 3 decades ago, neural networks, which existed in theory, so this is deep learning. So once again, it needs a lot of compute power, and that is now cloud-enabled, and it is now implemented on the cloud as well. So within the deep learning technologies have advanced greatly in the past 7-8 years. So in other words, the more larger cloud is key. So all right. So the three elements that consist AI. So the most important is machine learning, I believe. So for Microsoft, what is our advantage? Because a lot of people are focused on machine learning. So what is our advantage? All right, so the scope or in the landscape of machine learning, we have many competitors, but we have the engine. And it's not just about offering the engine, it is about the ease of use of the engine. So it's non-programmed. We can mix and match algorithms. It's simple to do the machine learning. And we can actually convert that into web services very quickly. So it is usable, and the turnaround time is very quick. And another point, deep learning within the umbrella of machine learning. Again, high compute power is needed to control, and we need a framework to manage this. And this framework is now open source and offered open source. So Microsoft is a very open company in that regard as well. All right, then let me jump one and go to bot framework, which is the dialogue interface or the conversation interface. So can you elaborate on this? This is also known as chatbot as well. So it is as if you were conversing with a human being. So this is the program that allows this to happen. So Microsoft has announced conversation as a platform. So natural language of humans, we believe will be a very strong next generation interface. And so the bot technology is now applied into many, many software. solutions. And so through conversation and dialogue, business transactions, business processes can be executed. So we're trying to create that world.
I think that we've been learning so much that it really caused some great disturbance in the world. Now, moving on to the cognitive services, these computers will be replacing some of the human beings' capabilities, right? So there are three components here, especially when it comes to cognitive services. I would like you to go a little bit deeper there. When it comes to cognitive services, there are 5 different components, such as visual recognition, voice recognition, language recognition, knowledge, and search. So, again, would you like to share the strengths of Microsoft in these 5 areas? Well, when it comes to visual and voice recognitions, deep learnings are mainly used. Do you know ImageNet? No, I never heard of it. ImageNet is to collect a great amount of images. That is a site name, so that image recognitions and cognitive researchers using the ImageNet database, and they are improving the precision of the recognition rate. Every year, there is a competition. The ImageNet Challenge is the name of the competition, and every year they compete against each other. Up to several years ago, the university researchers always became #1. So image recognitions, and then they try to reduce the error rate as much as possible. So humans' error rate is around 5% or so. 5.1%. So even human can make error, right? Yes. So 5%. Still, the automatic image recognition services couldn't really exceed that of human capability. But last year, for the first time, that Microsoft actually improved that, and Microsoft Deep Learning's image recognition's false rate, the error rate, was 3.5%. So that is really better than the human's recognition rate. So we have many other strengths, but let's move on to the next item of agenda, which is translator. So voice recognition and also language recognitions, all these two combined with the translators, so that you can provide a new type of services. Microsoft Translator is a services to translate one language to another. There are 2 ways to do it. One is text-to-text translation, and another one is speech-to-speech translation. The upper portion is text-to-text translation. So when you type in text, then the translation services translate that to different languages and display it on the screen. Now, we cover 50 different languages, so any language out of 50 languages, any to any is possible. Then when it comes to speech, then the scheme of this speech translation is that first you use speech recognition, and the contents of the speech is interpreted, because orally speaking, you usually have some words like a, and also sometimes the one sentence cannot be completed as it is. So first, speech recognition services can supplement the context and make a complete text. Then the text is translated. Then after that, the voice synthesis. So 8 different languages at this moment available in speech translation, so that from the 8 languages to 50 languages, Japanese is not included yet. The languages is included in the 50 text translation languages, but 8 speech languages does not have Japanese. But it is not bilateral yet. only from 8 to 50, but speech-wise 8 to 8, because at the end you have to have the speech synthesis. So let's give you a live demonstration. This is still the early version, Japanese to other languages. So we are using a Microsoft API as a client, and we use Skype over Microsoft to give you a live translation. So we combined the translator API into Skype. So I'm going to talk to Olivier Fontana, who is working on the product strategy of the Microsoft Speech. And please look at the screen. There is an icon on the Skype globe. Then when you click it, then the translation setting comes out. So in this case, I speak in Japanese, and Olivier speaks in English. He is French, but he will be speaking English today because many of you are English speakers. So without further ado, I will speak with Olivier. I call him first.
Konnichiwa.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. How are you?
こんにちは。元気ですか?
元気です。
I am fine.
始めましょうか。
Let's get started.
I'm ready to start.
開始する準備ができました。
OK。
Okay,
少し複雑な会話をしましょ
let the conversation a little bit complex.
う。毎年観光客が増えてますよね。
You'll see more and more tourists every year.
リアルタイム多言語コミュニケーションは日本で非常に重要です。
Real-time multilingual communication is very important in Japan.
I hope this service will open a new era of communication.
このサービスはコミュニケーションの新しい時代を開くと思います。
そう願ってます。
I hope so.
Please enjoy the rest of your presentation.
プレゼンテーションの残りの部分をお楽しみください。
ありがとうございます。さようなら。
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
ありがとう、さようなら。
So that was impressive. It's still in the early version, right? But it's so practical. No, there are much more room to improve. You really have to input much more data into it to improve it. But by the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, it is going to be perfect, right? Yes, more you use, then the data will be input into it, so it learns. So we have only limited number of translators so that we can use it at a very low cost. It is very difficult to make the 100% perfect Japanese, but with just understandable language is possible. And if you can do that at a very low price, then that was going to be a great hospitality. So do you think that Microsoft Translator has advanced in comparison to other competitors? We have 1-2 more competitors on the market, almost the same level as ours. But the strength of Microsoft is that we made translation API open so that many companies can use our API and create programs or services. So we have a great ecosystem. That is going to be a great benefit for all of us. Well, thank you very much. So that was about the translator. So many technologies is going to be combined with cloud robotics so that the Pepper is going to be smarter and smarter. And so Microsoft and SoftBank are now collaborating each other. As Mr. Miyauchi said, that he wants to add emotion to SoftBank Brain. And on our intelligent cloud, we have deep learning-based bot, the chatbot Lina. I'm sure that you've been using Lina. This is very much of an emotion-based conversation. The Lina got smart much more than before, so they can get some emotion-based conversation. So it is not just for the very business-like conversation, but also the cloud robotics can also add some emotion to the conversation. So it is going to be even more interesting in the future. Thank you very much. All right. Then another exciting news is this. Azure IoT Suite is here, and when you connect this to the cloud, then you can make use of IoT. So this solution is already structured. And the device side, over 120 companies already enabled Azure on their devices, so that we are working towards the standardization of the technologies, so that IoT cloud standard is going to be Azure someday. And also for the manufacturing standard, we have de facto standard Predix of GE that is going to be on Azure too, so that IoT cloud standard Azure and manufacturing standard Predix. And also SoftBank is planning to acquire ARM, and ARM is the IoT device standard architecture. So tri-parties, the best combination of the three parties, and we have high expectation for the tri-party collaboration. So Microsoft and then SoftBank, we have been enjoying a collaboration in many areas, and we have introduced 3 areas: Windows 10 Mobile from the Soft Mobile. This is a Lenovo, the history first carrier model device, and the middle is a Skype for Business and also Surface Hub, and right-hand side, Pepper meets Microsoft. So these 3 solutions will be explained by the afternoon session of Sakakibara-san. So you can also take a look at them at the booth of Microsoft. I hope you enjoy it. So I hope that you will have a great expectation for our collaboration. Thank you for your time.